Alright, so the thing with my life is things started off quite bad, like early, and it all really started when my parents took me to the doctor and when I was 18 months old, and they discovered that I had a very dangerous cancer in my tissue. And through lots of, doctors and medicine and prayer, I was in remission for quite a while. But then after that, growing up and things was different. Having gone through all that was different from all the other kids. But then it got to the point where my brother, who was 16 years old at the time, developed a bone marrow cancer, and that kind of shook the whole family. And because my parents were already divorced because of my cancer, and they were divorced, and I didn't really see much of my brother at that time. But through a year of him having to go through all that, he passed away, and that hit me quite hard because it was quite close to me, and I missed him a lot, and I didn't really know how to deal with it as a 6-year-old. So I guess from there life moved on. My parents got remarried because of the whole thing when he passed away, but I suppose that was just a little bit of light. Then the third shocker of my life was my father developed a very dangerous cancer in his stomach, which was quite hectic because we've never known anything like that, where it was actually in the torso. But then through a year of, doctors and whatever, he came home to me one day and he said to me, in 1 year, I'm not going to be here anymore. And that was the first time I ever saw my father cry. And eventually, through a year of spending time, he did pass away. And that was the point where I really didn't think things could get worse in my life, and I was completely broken. I didn't know where to turn, and I was hopeless. I went through counseling and psychology, which didn't really help at all. But then eventually I got over it, sort of, in a sense, and I carried on with my life. And then I got to a place where I went for my I went for a checkup at the doctors, and they told me my cancer had come back. A different kind, but it was back in the same place. Well, not really the same place, but it was the same cancer my brother had. And at that point I was without a doubt certain I was going to die, because if he didn't survive, I would die. And then the doctors gave me one of two options: either one, I die, or the other one, they remove a body part. And naturally I chose the second option, and it was over. It was all over. One operation, it was all over. Got to go home. It was great. So during 2013, the cancer year, I was supposed to be in grade 7 because I discovered I had cancer during the end of grade 6. And during the whole of grade 7, the 9 months of being in hospital, I wasn't focusing on school. And as soon as I got back, I wrote the grade 7 final exams, and I actually passed, But then it was quite scary after that point, because I had just come out of a whole chapter in my life of, hospital, needles and everything, and, having to live like I am now. And it was quite scary because I'm having to go into a whole new environment in a situation that I'm not completely comfortable with yet. So I had to make friends as the new person I was. And that was quite scary because I didn't know how to fit in yet, because I felt like I didn't. And through all this time I grew up in a Christian home. My parents taught me, good values, but I wasn't living the way I should have been. I was living the way I wanted to, and not the way God intended for me. My friend eventually invited me to his youth group. I was very reluctant because, I didn't really want to see people, because I didn't want to be judged or anything. But I eventually agreed, and a couple months after that, I really realized that I've been wasting my time and I need to dedicate my life to Jesus. And I did. And so as soon as that happened, as soon as I told, Jesus that I need him in my heart, things have really been going my way. And I've literally never been happier in my life. So in the end, it all worked out. And I'm happy where I am. Found my church. And feel like I'm part of the family. I'm Daniel Flanders, and I've been found.